All right, let's talk about plotting ordered pairs. Okay, so here is our rectangular coordinate system, and it has 4 quadrants. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Okay, you also have an x-axis that is horizontal, and you have a y-axis that is always vertical. Okay, so in quadrant 1, notice that the x values are positive, and notice that the y values are positive. Okay, for quadrant 2, notice that the x values are negative, and the y values are positive. For quadrant 3, notice that the x values are all negative, and the y values are also all negative. For quadrant 4, notice that the x values are positive, and the y values are positive. Okay, so in an ordered pair, it looks like this right here. You have 2 parentheses. The first component is always going to represent the x value, and the second component is always going to represent the y value. Okay, so your x values, they can move left and right. That's all they can do, while your y values can move up and down. Okay, now let's look at this point, -5, -2. So remember, in this ordered pair, this first number is talking about the x value, and it's negative. Okay, so on the x-axis, remember the x-axis is horizontal. Okay, we are looking for negatives. Okay, so -5 is right here. So -5 for x right here. And then the second number is talking about the y component, or the y value. And this -2, so it's negative. Okay, so on your y-axis, remember that is always vertical. We need to go down to -2. Okay, so let's first go over to -5 and then down -2. Okay, so we'll go over to -5 and then we will go down to -2 and we will plot our point right there. Okay, so our point right here, that is -5, -2, and that's it. Okay, and also if we go back, remember this was quadrant 1, quadrant 2, and quadrant 3, and we'll go ahead, this is quadrant 4. Always in quadrant 1, the x will be positive, the y will be positive. They'll both be positive. In quadrant 2, x is negative, y is positive, all the time. In quadrant 3, they will both be negative, like they are here in this problem, or that point. In quadrant 4, your y or your x will always be positive, your y will always be negative. Okay, that's always true. So let's look at the point -3, 4. Okay, our first number is a -3, so that's talking about the x value. So on the x-axis, which is always horizontal, I need to go over to -3. Okay, so I'm going to go over to -3. And then the second value is always talking about your y value, and it's positive. Okay, so the y value is always on the y-axis, so I need to go up to 4. Okay, so from my -3 up to -4, and we're going to plot that point right there. Get rid of those. Okay, now notice the signs of these. It was a negative and then a positive, and we are in quadrant 2. Okay, if we look back over here, a negative and a positive always goes in quadrant 2, just like this point right here. Okay.